Cara set up the hookah station on a small table by the pool. She glanced at her watch and decided to wait for more guests in the house. With Cara waiting in the foyer, Cris decided that she should probably get ready and join the party. She wore a fitted black tank top tucked into a breezy high-waisted skirt with a subtle palm leaf print. Her hair was pulled back into a low ponytail and she had on minimal jewelry, just a thin gold chain and small hoop earrings. Once she was in the yard, she scanned the yard for Liz or Michelle. They were standing by the appetizer table trying out Tanya's pineapple skewers. Without Cara by her side, she decided to build up some confidence and greet them herself. "Hey ya ladies," she called out. "You guys look gorgeous, and this party absolutely stunning." Both Liz and Michelle turned around at the sound of Chris's voice. They smiled as they appraised her outfit. "Cris, you look amazing," Michelle said, giving her a quick hug. "I love your sarong. Totally fitting for this setting," Liz nodded in agreement, admiring Chris's outfit. Cris blushed at their compliments. "Thanks, guys. I wanted to go for something comfortable but still fashionable. The tropical theme definitely made it easier to dress." She glanced back at the appetizers. "Those pineapple skewers look delicious, by the way." "They're really good," Michelle said, reaching for another skewer. "Tanya brought them, but we've already almost finished them off." Liz chuckled. "We better pace ourselves. There's plenty more food and drinks coming later on." Cris smiled, grabbing a pineapple skewer and walking towards Tanya and Nicole by the tiki bar. Since she's been clean, she's been limiting herself to a glass of wine a day, but since Cara's celebration party was so important and organized perfectly, she decided to treat herself to a cocktail. Cris approaches the bar with a smile on her face. "Hey Gionni, beautiful yard and decorations. You guys did a great job." Gionni grinned as he greeted Cris. "Thanks, we've been working hard on it." "Hey," Tanya said loudly, waving to Cris. "Look at you! Gorgeous!" Nicole complimented. Cris hugged Tanya and Nicole. "Thank you, Nicole. Cara's been letting me rate her closet. I don't know if you can tell." "You look great, girl. You're glowing," Tanya smiled. Tanya chuckled, examining Chris's outfit. "Cara does have great taste in fashion. She definitely knows how to dress." Nicole nodded in agreement. "And you have the perfect figure for it. I'm jealous." Thank you, thank you. I've been losing so much weight since I stopped drinking and doing heroin. It's insane that I even fit into Cara's clothes," Cris smiled. The other girls exchanged surprised glances. They knew about Chris's drug issues but hadn't seen the difference. It was striking. Tanya was the first to find her words. "That's amazing, Cris. You look healthier, like a completely different person." Nicole added, her eyes wide. "Seriously, you look so much healthier and you're literally glowing." Gionni, listening in on the conversation, couldn't help but nod in agreement. "It's incredible how much you've changed. You look happy and radiant." "Thank you, guys. It means so much to me. I'm just starting to build that confidence again, and I feel so much happier. I'm so glad Cara allowed me to move into the pool house. It's seriously changed my life, and it hasn't even been that long," Cris smiled. The other girls exchanged a look, relieved to see Cris so happy and well. It was a stark contrast to the Cris they remembered. Tanya reached out to squeeze Chris's hand. "You deserve to be happy, Cris. We're so glad you're doing well." As Tanya and Nicole were catching up with Cris, Cara was in the foyer, becoming bored. She leaned against the wall, staring at her watch. A few seconds later, she finally heard the doorbell ring. Cara opened the door and saw Craig and Maria standing there. They walked in together, both dressed for the warm evening. Craig wore a short-sleeved button-down shirt with a palm tree print, khaki shorts, and canvas slip-ons. Maria had a white linen romper with gold bangles and strappy sandals. They brought a platter of grilled shrimp skewers and a pitcher of homemade coconut lime punch and a stack of bamboo plates for serving. "Hey, you two! That punch smells incredible already," she said, taking the platter from Craig. "And shrimp skewers? You're spoiling us." Maria smiled and handed over the bamboo plates. "Figured we'd keep things eco-friendly and delicious." Craig nodded, glancing around at the setup. "This place looks amazing. You really went all out." Cara laughed. "You know I can't resist a theme. Drinks go by the bar, and food's getting devoured already, so you're right on time." They headed toward the patio, blending into the growing crowd as music and laughter picked up around them. Craig and Maria made their rounds, greeting Michelle, Liz, Tanya, Cris, and Nicole. They ordered 2 Shirley Temples at the tiki bar and began chatting amongst the group. The group mingled, enjoying their drinks in the tropical atmosphere. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the backyard. People were playing games, lounging on the poolside deck chairs, and chatting in small groups. It was shaping up to be a perfectly relaxed and carefree luau. More guests were arriving and greeting Cara as they walked into her mansion. The next crowd was Carla and Brad and Carole and Tom. It had been a while since the last time they were invited to one of Cara's events. After Cara's birthday party event, the 4 of them were keeping busy all summer long, so they hadn't seen or talked to anyone else from the group since the birthday party. Carla and Brad arrived hand in hand, both dressed in coordinated shades of teal. Carla wore a sleeveless midi dress with a subtle wave pattern and wedge sandals, while Brad had on a teal polo shirt, white shorts, and boat shoes. They brought a tray of grilled pineapple and teriyaki bites, plus a stack of tropical-themed napkins. Carole and Tom followed close behind. Carole wore a wide-brimmed straw hat, a floral wrap dress, and slip-on sandals. Tom sported a breezy linen shirt, cargo shorts, and golf shoes. They brought a large bowl of watermelon salad. "Hey guys," Cara called out as she saw them walking on the deck. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" The four of them were astonished as they walked into Cara's backyard, surveying the atmosphere. The decorations were so beautiful and bright that they stood there admiring it for a moment. "Hey Cara," Carla called out, waving back. "Beautiful scenery!" They walked down the stairs of the deck and straight to the tiki bar for a drink. Gionni mixed watermelon margaritas for the girls and virgin pina coladas for the guys. They began passing greetings around to the crowd as Gionni mixed their beverages. The girls all fawned over Carole's hat, admiring the unique straw accessory. Carla took a sip of her margarita, savoring the flavor. "This drink is the best. Gionni, you're killing it tonight." Gionni smiled, happy to see everyone enjoying themselves. "Thanks. Try the watermelon salad too. It's pretty damn refreshing." "We will! That sounds delicious," Carla called back. Cara came over to the bar and whispered in Gianni's ear. "I'll man the bar, honey. Go play a game with the guys. You deserve it." Gionni nodded and stepped away from the bar. "Okay, honey, I'll be around." Gionni followed Tom and Brad over to Coconut Bowling, where Aunt Jo and Lorenzo were playing. Liz and Michelle were sitting by the pool and engaging in the hookah. The time was now 5:30 p.m., and dinner was prompted at 7:30. The party was almost in full swing. Tanya, Nicole, and Cris headed over to the hula hoop station. Carla, Carole, Craig, and Maria were chatting by the bar. Cara wiped her hands on her apron, watching as Gionni joined the guys for a game of coconut bowling. She took in the energy of the party, pleased with how everything was coming together. Kelly arrived in a breezy white sundress with lace trim, tan strappy sandals, and a woven tote. She brought a pitcher of mint-infused iced tea and a jar of homemade lemon bars. Whitney wore high-waisted palm print trousers, a fitted coral tank top, slide sandals, and a stack of gold bangles. She carried a bowl of fresh mango salsa with tortilla chips. Julie showed up in a chambray shift dress, bright espadrille wedges, and a straw crossbody bag. She brought a platter of coconut macaroon bites and a chilled bottle of sparkling rosé. As the three of them walked into the mansion and through the French doors onto the deck, they stopped and greeted Cara at the bar. Cara welcomed them with air hugs and kisses, and then offered to make them a drink. Julie headed over to the appetizer station to place down her belongings. Whitney was greeting other people while Kelly placed their drink orders. Cara greeted Kelly and Whitney with a warm smile, her eyes scanning their outfits. "Hey guys, you look amazing," Cara said, admiring their dresses. Kelly smiled, adjusting her dress. "Thanks, Cara. You look great too." Whitney added, "I love the theme of this party. The luau vibe is on point." Cara nodded, appreciating their compliments. "Thanks. I'm glad it's coming together. What would you guys like to drink?" Kelly ordered a pineapple punch, and Whitney went for a virgin pina colada. Cara made the drinks, chatting with them as she added the final touches. When the drinks were ready, Cara handed them to the girls with a smile. "Here you go. Pineapple punch for Kelly and a virgin pina colada for Whitney." Kelly took a sip of her drink, grinning at the sweet pineapple flavor. "This is delicious." Whitney took a small sip of her virgin pina colada, her eyes lighting up. "Perfectly refreshing." Cara turned to Julie, who had just finished setting down their belongings and was now standing nearby. "What can I get you, Julie?" Julie thought for a moment before replying. "I'll have a mojito, please." "You got it," Cara replied, skillfully mixing up Julie's drink. "Here you go." Julie took a sip and smiled appreciatively. "This is refreshing. Thank you, Cara." Cara smiled at the compliment, feeling proud of her bartending skills. She enjoyed being able to serve her friends and guests delicious drinks. "You're welcome," Cara said. "Feel free to grab some food too. The appetizers are incredible." Kelly, Whitney, and Julie all nodded, making their way over to the appetizer table. They chatted amongst themselves, nibbling on the food and admiring the decorations. Cara took a moment to take in the scene, feeling a sense of contentment. She was thrilled to see that everyone was having a lovely time. Cara's still standing by the bar and making her guests drinks. The appetizer table is popping, and guests are enjoying all the delicious food. Susan and Hillary arrive together, stepping onto the lawn just as the tiki torches flicker to life. Susan steps through the yard wearing a turquoise maxi dress printed with hibiscus flowers. She tilts a straw fedora over her sun-kissed hair and slides on tan leather sandals. In her hands, a wooden tray holds a pitcher of chilled guava hibiscus tea and a bowl of fresh mango salsa. Hillary follows just behind, dressed in a crisp white linen shirt, untucked over olive green shorts. A coral-colored lei drapes around her neck, and her feet are slipped into brown leather sandals. She carries a container of Hawaiian mac salad for the appetizer table. Cara notices Susan and Hillary making their way over and immediately brightens up. "Hey, you guys! It's so good to see you," Cara says, setting down her drink mixer and coming around the bar to greet them. Susan smiles warmly, holding up the pitcher and the bowl she brought. "We brought a little bit of snack contribution, guava hibiscus tea and mango salsa." Hillary nods in agreement, holding up her container of mac salad. "Yeah, we didn't want to show up empty-handed." Susan smiles. "We couldn't resist. We knew the theme was going to be luau, so we felt obligated to bring something fruity and tropical." Cara chuckled, appreciating their thoughtfulness. "Well, you guys are too sweet, and your leis are beautiful too." Cara gently touched the lei around Susan's neck, admiring the vibrant tropical flowers. "Where did you guys get these? They're so pretty." Susan smoothed out her dress. "We found a local florist who specialized in traditional lei making. We knew we had to have some for tonight." Cara turned to Hillary, who was adjusting her lei. "They definitely add to the tiki vibe." "What can I get you guys to drink?" Cara smiled. "I'll have a glass of your pineapple punch, please," Susan said. "And I'll have a pina colada," Hillary added. Cara nodded, grabbing 2 glasses from behind the bar. "Coming right up, 1 pineapple punch and a pina colada." She mixed the drinks, adding a little pineapple slice as a garnish to each glass. She handed the drinks to Susan and Hillary. "Here you go, ladies. Enjoy." "Thanks, Cara," Susan said, taking a sip of her drink. Hillary took a sip of her pina colada, her eyes widening in surprise. "Oh, wow, this is so good." Cara smirked, pleased with the compliment. "Thanks, I put extra love into them." Susan and Hillary walked around the yard and joined Tanya, Nicole, and Cris at the Limbo Challenge station. Everyone was moving around and enjoying each other's company. The time was now 6 p.m. Cara was still waiting for Christina and Bill, hoping they don't show up too late and miss dinner. They were now almost 2 hours late, and Cara was starting to get worried. She left the bar for a second and checked in with Gionni over by the coconut bowling station. "Hey, honey," Gionni says, waving. "Hey, I'm just waiting on Christina and Bill. They're almost 2 hours late. I don't know what's going on. Christina said she would be here." Cara rolled her eyes. "I would say just be patient, honey. Maybe you should give them a call?" Gionni suggested. "I'll text Christina and see where she's at. I'm trying to stay cool," Cara said, pulling out her phone. Gionni nodded, understanding Cara's frustration. "Yeah, it's tough when people are late, especially when you put so much effort into this party." Cara sighed, typing out a quick text to Christina. "I know. It's just so disrespectful at this point. I know we always try to give them a pass because they live in New York, but being late like this is ridiculous. She knows she's supposed to be here, and she better not bring Rob this time. This is a private party, and other guests need to be approved." Cara shook her head, sending the text. Gionni put his hand on Cara's shoulder, trying to calm her down. "Just breathe, honey. Maybe they're just stuck in traffic or something." Cara nodded, taking a deep breath. "Yeah, you're right. I'm just being impatient. Let's not let it ruin our night." "Exactly," Gionni said, trying to ease Cara's mind. "Let's just enjoy the party. Everything will be fine." Cara nodded again, trying to let go of her frustration. You're right. I need to calm down." Gionni gave her a reassuring squeeze on the shoulder. "It's all going to be fine, honey. They'll show up eventually." Cara took another deep breath, trying to shake off the annoyance she was feeling. She looked around at the party, trying to focus on the good moments. Cara glanced over at the pool area where Michelle and Liz were still smoking the hookah. They hadn't moved at all from their spot and were deep in conversation. She considered joining them for a moment, but decided against it. The stress of waiting for Christina and Bill was too fresh in her mind. Instead, Cara decided to walk around, chatting with the other guests and checking on the food. She wanted to keep herself busy and distracted until her friends arrived. As Cara passed by, she couldn't help but overhear a snippet of their conversation. She paused for a moment, pretending to adjust one of the tiki torches nearby, trying to eavesdrop without being too obvious. Liz was in the middle of a story, her hands animatedly gesturing in the air. "I swear, I never knew someone could be so clingy," she was talking loudly over the music. Michelle took a drag from the hookah and exhaled, her gaze fixed on the pool. "What do you mean?" "He's just so much sometimes," Liz complained, rolling her eyes. Michelle raised an eyebrow, exhaling another steam of smoke. "What do you mean, so much? Like, how?" Liz sighed, leaning back in her chair. "He's just super attached. Always wants to know where I am, who I'm with, what I'm doing." Michelle took another drag, thinking, "Sounds like he's just trying to keep tabs on you." Liz scoffed, shaking her head. "Yeah, and it's smothering." Michelle nodded, sympathizing. "I can see how that could be annoying. Has he always been like this?" "No, it's only been lately," Liz admitted, sighing. Michelle exhaled a steam of smoke, watching it rise into the air. "Any idea why this sudden change?" Liz took a deep breath, trying to contain herself without crying. Probably the divorce scare. She paused. Michelle reached out, placing a hand on Liz's arm. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Liz wiped away a tear, trying to compose herself. It's just so hard, you know? We've been together for more than 10 years. Michelle gave Liz's arm a gentle squeeze. That's a long time. You must be going through a lot. Michelle and Liz sat in silence for a moment as Liz absorbed her words. Cara heads into the house to wait for Christina and Bill. A few seconds later, she receives a text with an apology and an update that they are 10 minutes away. She paces around the foyer, waiting patiently for her last 2 guests to arrive. Christina and Bill arrived just as the sky turned dusky, apologizing for their nearly 2-hour delay. Christina wore a flowing aqua sarong dress with coconut shell earrings and strappy leather sandals. Bill had on a crisp white linen shirt, navy palm print shorts, and tan flip-flops. They carried a large charcuterie board piled with tropical fruits, island cheeses, and spiced nuts, plus a bottle of 12-year-aged dark rum. Bill is juggling the charcuterie board with one hand while Christina is smoking a cigarette and clinging to him. They manage to ring the doorbell as they are both stumbling and struggling to keep their balance. Cara swings open the door and smirks. Well, well, well. Look who finally decided to arrive. Approximately 2 hours late, Cara says sarcastically. She places her hands on her hips and ushers the two of them inside. Even though Christina could sense Cara was unhappy with them, that didn't stop her from being dramatic and energetic. Hey, Cara, Christina called out, screaming at the top of her lungs. Sorry we're so late, sweetheart, she says, pulling her into an uneasy hug. She stuck the cigarette back into her mouth and walked into Cara's house. Bill nodded and handed her the board. Hey, sorry, we were at a rum tasting event at our neighbor's house. We just stopped in and didn't expect to stay so late. It turned into an all-out cocktail competition and spontaneous hula contest. Bill shrugged. Cara sighed. Thank you for being honest with me, she whispers, as Christina struts down the hallway. She lets herself outside through the French doors and into the party in the yard. Cara continued. Although I'm not too happy with Christina's behavior right now, I still appreciate you two showing up, even though it's a bit late, she smirked. Bill nodded. Of course. I wouldn't want to lose you as a friend or miss out on a great party. Cara walked with Bill and led him outside to the party. As they headed into the yard, Christina was already making herself comfortable, passing greetings around and loudly apologizing that she was so late. Hey, everybody, she called out again, trying to drown out the music with her voice. Oh, geez, Bill said under his breath. He ordered a pina colada as Cara stood behind the bar. I'm so sorry about Christina, Cara, he chuckled. She's already wasted. Cara sighed. It's all right. I just hope she can control herself this evening. I don't want another blowout, she says, grabbing some ice. Way to make a fucking entrance, Liz says under her breath. She's standing next to Michelle and Tanya by the water balloon station. I know. It's like that girl can't hold her tongue. Everything has to be a scene, Tanya chuckled, sipping her water. Cara nods, knowing all too well. Yeah, I think she's already had quite a few drinks. Liz shook her head, rolling her eyes. And we all know what that means, right? Michelle chuckled, adding, loud, hyper, obnoxious, and no filter. Cara is still watching Christina from a distance. Christina is now standing by the coconut bowling station, taking shots with Nicole and Cris. Christina is yelling and laughing, throwing a coconut to the pins every now and then. Cara can hear everything Christina is saying, and her behavior is getting worse by the minute. Look at you, throwing coconuts around like you're in a coconut jungle, Christina says to Cris, nudging her with her elbow. You're killing it, she says and giggles, almost losing her balance. Christina stumbles over to where Cara is standing. Hey, Cara, you got any more shots? She slurs, her speech thick with a distinct New York accent. Cara looks a bit taken aback by Christina's state. She tries to keep a cool composure and responds to Christina's question calmly. Christina, do you think shots are such a good idea right now, honey? She says, her voice filled with concern and a hint of irritation. Christina pouts, clearly unhappy with Cara's reply. Oh, come on, Cara. What's wrong with shots? It's a party, isn't it? She gestures wide with her hands, swaying a bit. Cara sighs, trying to remain patient. Yes, it is. But you're already pretty drunk, Christina. I think maybe some water would be a better choice for you right now. Christina huffs in frustration, clearly not happy about Cara's suggestion. Water is so boring, Cara. And I'm not that drunk, you know? Cara raises an eyebrow, not buying it. Uh-huh. You don't look sober to me, honey. Christina rolls her eyes, clearly annoyed. Oh, please. Don't mom me right now. I know my limits, Cara. I'm fine. Cara shakes her head, not backing down. I don't think you are right now. You're slurring your words and you can barely stand straight. Christina crosses her arms defiantly, clearly not happy about being called out. I can stand just fine, she says, wobbling a bit to prove her point. Cara raises an eyebrow, not impressed. You just wobbled. You're not fine. You're wasted. As Cara and Christina continue to argue, Michelle notices the tension and walks closer to try to intervene. Uh-oh, Michelle murmurs to herself, sensing the situation escalating. Michelle approaches Christina and Cara, trying to diffuse the situation. Hey guys, everything okay over here? I think Cara needs to mind her fucking business and let me control myself. I know when I've had too much to drink, and I know when to stop. It doesn't matter that I should up here drunk. She needs to stay in her lane, Christina slurred. Cara's eyes widened, clearly taken aback by Christina's rude comment. Wow, seriously? I'm just trying to look out for you. You're so drunk right now that you can barely stand up straight. Christina rolls her eyes, dismissing Cara's concerns. Oh, please. You're just being an uptight control freak like always, she shouted. At least I'm having fun and not policing people like I'm a bodyguard or something. Cara's temper starts to flare, losing her composure. You're not having fun. You're being reckless. You're too drunk to think clearly. Christina laughs cynically. Oh, here we go again. Miss Perfect always has to be right, huh? Michelle, still standing nearby, sees the situation escalating and tries to intervene. All right, guys, let's cool it down a bit. Christina waves her hand dismissively at Michelle. Stay out of this, Michelle. This is between me and Cara, she glares at Cara. I'm not going to listen to you if you're giving me an attitude. Cara stood there, hands on her hips. Either get your shit together or you and Bill will be kicked out, and I'm sure Bill wouldn't like that. She pointed over to the guys throwing water balloons. He's having the time of his life while you're over here arguing with me about how drunk you are. It's pathetic, Christina. I'm not going to stand for it. Christina bristles at Cara's harsh words, but deep down she knows Cara has a point. She looks over at Bill, who's laughing and having fun with the guys. Ugh, whatever, Christina grumbles, knowing that Cara is right. As Cara and Michelle walk over to where Liz is hanging out by the hookah, they can hear the sound of guys cheering and laughing as they continue playing with the water balloons. Liz looks up as Cara and Michelle approach. Hey guys, what was that all about? Christina being a hot mess, as usual, Cara sighs. We're having dinner soon, so she better get her act together, Michelle commented, nodding her head. Liz smirks, rolling her eyes. Fat chance. She's way too drunk to behave herself. She'll probably just pass out or make a scene. She better save that meltdown for karaoke then, Cara chuckled. That'll be after dinner, though. Michelle looked surprised. Karaoke? Cara, you didn't mention that earlier. I guess you could say it's one of my surprises for later, Cara covered her mouth. You don't have to participate, but it's for anyone else who wants to. Liz laughs too. Oh, this ought to be interesting. I bet Christina will try to hog the mic. Remember the stripper showdown at the white party? Yeah, she's not holding back, Cara laughed. Liz nods, recalling the wild memory. Oh man, how could I forget? She was pretty unhinged that night. Michelle laughs, shaking her head. She's always unhinged when she's drunk. She should come with a warning label. Cara nodded, lighting a cigarette. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell her. Showing up late is one thing, but showing up drunk? She's always taking things to another level. We all know by now that she has a drinking problem and doesn't try to hold back. She's already disrespected me tonight, and I can't wait to see how she acts during dinner. Cara shook her head. Liz and Michelle exchanged glances, both knowing all too well about Christina's tendencies. You know she won't apologize either, Liz points out. Michelle nods in agreement. She'll probably just brush it off and act like nothing happened. Typical Christina behavior. Cara takes a deep drag from her cigarette, blowing smoke into the air. Yeah, I know. It's frustrating. I said it once, but I'll say it again. I can't imagine working with her or being one of her associates. She must be a shitty manager, Michelle said with a look. Cara and Liz nodded, both sharing the same sentiment. Oh yeah, I feel bad for anyone who works under her. Imagine having to deal with her and her bad temper on a daily basis. Michelle shook her head, taking a sip of her drink. And let's not forget how much she takes credit for other people's work. She does, and then she also claims that she can't do things that are a part of her job description, Liz continued. I hear she has her coworkers in other departments doing her favors for her department because she'll play that, I don't do that, that's not my job, bullshit. That's classic Christina for you, Cara chimed in, rolling her eyes. She's all about delegating and passing off tasks, and don't even get me started on her communication skills. Michelle sighed, closing her eyes and giving Christina a once-over from a distance. When are we having dinner? She asks, trying to change the subject. Cara glances at her watch. It's almost 7. I think the food is just about ready to be served. I'll go into the kitchen and see what's keeping them. She stands up from her patio chair. Sounds good, Liz replied, taking a sip of her drink. We'll keep an eye on Christina until you get back. Cara nodded and walked back into the house, heading towards the kitchen. Liz and Michelle continued to watch Christina from a distance, wondering how she'll behave at dinner. I wonder what she's going to say about her tagline, Michelle says, placing her index finger on her chin. I named her the Queen of Passive Aggression. It was a joke at first, but it's the truth, Michelle said with a chuckle. Oh, yeah, she's definitely the Queen of Passive Aggression, Liz agreed with a smirk. Her comebacks are always subtle and underhanded, but you can still feel the sting. And it's not just that, Michelle added. She's also the master of sarcasm. She always has some biting remark ready to go. Liz nodded, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Yeah, she's like a walking, talking comeback machine. It's both impressive and slightly terrifying. And let's not forget her uncanny ability to turn any conversation around and make it about herself, Liz added with a smirk. It's like she has a radar for any situation and finds a way to redirect the attention back to herself. Michelle laughed, nodding. Yeah, she's a pro at making conversations all about her. It's like she feeds off the attention or something.